After 3 decades practicing as a surgeon and observing countless patients bounce back from injuries, diseases, and the effects of aging, I've discovered something crucial. Simply taking walks isn't enough to protect you. Current research indicates that while walking benefits cardiovascular health, it fails to adequately stimulate the nervous system in ways necessary to maintain mobility or reduce fall risk. This explains why many older adults who walk regularly still find themselves struggling with stairways or rising from chairs unassisted. The solution lies in 5 particular movements that retrain your system to function as it once did years ago. These aren't dangerous, uncomfortable, or demanding exercises. They're straightforward actions that reactivate your stabilizing muscles, enhance your reflexes, and help your joints respond properly again. Experts refer to this as neuromuscular retraining, and it represents the crucial difference between gradual aging and rapid decline. Research demonstrates that dedicating merely 10 minutes daily to these movements can reduce fall incidence by half, enhance blood flow to the brain, and fortify the muscles safeguarding your hips, knees, and backbone. Throughout this presentation, I'll share the 5 movements you should incorporate after turning 60, ordered from beneficial to truly transformative. Each targets a distinct bodily system, from stability through flexibility to power. By the conclusion, you'll understand precisely how to move, stand, and regain your strength. All medical research, workout guidelines, and scientific citations appear in the description section for your review. Before we begin, I'd like to ask, what's your location? We're personally reviewing and responding to every comment today, so please engage with us. Your response could motivate others. Let's begin with movement number 5, the one that subtly trains your frame to maintain height, enhance breathing, and move with assurance. Number 5, single leg stance with closed eyes. The capacity to balance on a single foot may appear absurdly basic, yet findings from the Brazilian longitudinal study of aging recently showed that individuals past 60, unable to maintain single-leg balance for 10 seconds, faced an 84% elevated mortality risk over the following 10 years versus those who could, making this apparently elementary ability more indicative of lifespan than blood pressure or cholesterol measurements. When balancing on one leg with shut eyes, something remarkable occurs within your brain, as it must depend exclusively on proprioceptors, microscopic sensors within your muscles and joints that inform your brain about your body's spatial position. With advancing age, these sensors lose sensitivity, explaining why mature adults frequently experience instability. The encouraging aspect is that regularly challenging them actually regenerates nerve connections and can restore balance capabilities you believed permanently lost. To develop this skill, position yourself near a reliable chair or wall for security. Raise one foot several inches from the floor while maintaining open eyes, sustaining this for 10 seconds before alternating legs. Once you can maintain this comfortably for 30 seconds per side, advance to shutting your eyes for merely 5 seconds initially, incrementally extending to 30 seconds as your proprioceptors reactivate and strengthen. The primary error most commit is attempting to force through with tension. The true method involves staying loose and permitting your body to make minute automatic corrections, similar to a tree gently moving in wind rather than resisting it. You'll discover that gentle focus and deep breathing actually enhance your balance more than gripping and tensing. For optimal results, practice this movement upon waking when your balance mechanisms need activation after horizontal rest all night, and again before sleep to strengthen those neural connections during rest, targeting 3 sets of 30 seconds per leg. Within merely 2 weeks, you'll observe improvements in activities from walking on irregular terrain to nighttime movement without experiencing dizziness or instability. Progression matters because your nervous system adapts rapidly. After mastering closed-eye standing, advance to standing on a moderately soft surface like a folded towel or yoga mat, challenging your ankle stabilizers differently. Then, ultimately, combine the soft surface with closed eyes for the supreme balance challenge that would impress elite athletes. Studies indicate that individuals practicing daily single-leg stands decrease their fall risk by 37% and experience greater confidence in everyday activities like stepping off curbs or moving through crowded areas. Additionally, the focus and concentration needed functions like meditation for your mind, decreasing anxiety and enhancing mental sharpness throughout the day. However, while balance proves vital, the following exercise addresses something even more fundamental, the basis of every motion you perform. Number 4. Adapted planks with progressive modifications. Your core extends beyond just abdominal muscles. It's a complex system of 29 distinct muscles encircling your entire midsection like an organic support belt. Mayo Clinic studies reveal that after 60, core strength deteriorates twice as rapidly as arm or leg strength, clarifying why numerous mature adults develop persistent back discomfort, compromised posture, and that forward-leaning stance that ages appearance by decades. The plank movement, when appropriately modified for mature physiques, engages all these deep stabilizing muscles concurrently in ways that crunches or sit-ups never accomplish. University of Waterloo biomechanics research discovered that maintaining a plank for just 10 seconds produces the same strengthening effect as 50 conventional crunches, yet without the hazardous spinal compression that can harm aging discs and vertebrae. Initial positioning is critical. Begin on hands and knees with wrists positioned directly beneath shoulders and knees beneath hips. Simply maintain this position while drawing your navel gently toward your spine, visualizing yourself zipping tight jeans and breathing naturally for 10 seconds. While this may seem modest, this tabletop stance already activates your complete core system. Once you can sustain the tabletop position for 30 seconds without trembling, advance by extending one leg straight backward while maintaining level hips, holding for 10 seconds, then switching legs. This bird dog modification adds rotational stability, protecting your spine during everyday twisting actions like checking over your shoulder while driving or reaching for elevated items. The subsequent progression transitions from knees to a forearm plank where you rest on forearms with elbows beneath shoulders and extend both legs backward. Here's the adjustment making it safe and effective for mature spines. Maintain your knees on the ground initially, creating a modified forearm plank that's 70% as effective as a complete plank but with zero injury risk. The technique making planks incredibly effective past 60 involves something termed breathing activation, where you inhale deeply through your nose, then while exhaling through pursed lips, imagine blowing out birthday candles while simultaneously drawing your ribcage down toward your pelvis. This breathing pattern multiplies core activation by 32% according to EMG research. Progress gradually over 8 weeks until you can sustain a forearm plank with raised knees for 60 seconds, practicing every alternate day to allow recovery, and you'll observe dramatic improvements in activities from rising from bed without groaning to transporting groceries without back strain. Plus, that hunched posture will naturally self-correct as your core muscles recall their responsibility of maintaining you upright. The advanced modification that genuinely transforms your physique involves plank walkouts, where from standing you bend forward, walk your hands out to plank position, hold for 5 seconds, then walk your hands back to standing, combining flexibility, strength, and cardiovascular challenge in one fluid movement that burns calories while developing functional fitness. Yet even with perfect balance and robust core, there's one strength type determining whether you'll require assistance rising from a chair at 80. Number 3. Chair squats with controlled tempo. The quadriceps muscles in your thighs diminish by 40% between ages 40 and 80 without specific training. Here's the sobering truth. Once you cannot rise from a chair without using your hands, you've crossed a boundary predicting nursing facility admission within 5 years, per the Journal of the American Geriatric Society. The positive news is that chair squats can reconstruct this essential strength at any age. When executing a squat, you're not merely exercising your thighs, but coordinating 200 distinct muscles from ankles to core in a movement symphony, mimicking numerous daily activities, from retrieving floor items to entering and exiting vehicles. The advantage of using a chair is providing a safety mechanism while teaching perfect form, protecting your knees and back. Position yourself before a solid chair with feet hip-width apart and toes angled slightly outward. Here's the transformation. Instead of simply dropping down and popping up like most do, you'll employ tempo control by counting to 4 while lowering yourself, barely contacting the chair with your bottom, pausing for 1 second, then taking 2 seconds to stand back up. This slow, controlled motion creates 3 times greater muscle activation than regular squats. The method for protecting knees while maximizing benefits involves initiating movement by pushing hips backward, like attempting to shut a car door with your bottom, maintaining proud chest and eyes looking straight ahead, not down at feet. As you lower, imagine spreading the floor apart with your feet, activating your glutes and removing pressure from knee joints. Most don't realize the pause at bottom, that moment barely touching the chair, is where magic occurs because muscles must work hardest to reverse direction without momentum. This develops the explosive strength needed for emergency situations, like catching yourself from falling or quickly rising to answer the door. Begin with 3 sets of 8 chair squats using the 4-1-2 tempo, resting 60 seconds between sets, practicing this routine 3 times weekly on non-consecutive days, progressively increasing difficulty by using a lower chair, adding weight held at chest, or eventually advancing to squats without the chair once sufficient strength and confidence develop. The breathing pattern during squats is critical for both safety and effectiveness. Inhale deeply through your nose while lowering, filling your belly with air to create intra-abdominal pressure protecting your spine. Then exhale forcefully through your mouth while standing. This breathing rhythm ensures adequate oxygen delivery while preventing dangerous blood pressure spikes occurring when people hold breath during exertion. Transformation happens quickly, as studies show individuals over 60 performing tempo-controlled squats for just 8 weeks increase leg strength by an average of 35%. More importantly, they report feeling decades younger when ascending stairs, rising from the floor after playing with grandchildren, or simply standing from a restaurant booth without embarrassing struggle. We're approaching the top, but the next exercise achieves what squats alone cannot. Number 2. Resistance band rows with various angles. Your back contains 40 distinct muscles functioning together like cables and pulleys, maintaining you upright. Here's what nobody mentions about aging. Between 60 and 80, the average individual loses 50% of back strength and develops what physical therapists call granny posture, that rounded, forward-hunched position, adding 10 years to appearance and compressing lungs so severely that breathing capacity drops 30%, making you feel exhausted and elderly. Resistance band rows are the single most effective exercise for reversing this deterioration because unlike gym machines locking you into one motion plane, bands permit natural 3-dimensional movement, strengthening not just large surface muscles but all those tiny stabilizers, preventing injuries and maintaining shoulders pulled back in perfect posture. To set up properly, loop a resistance band around a sturdy object to chest height, like a stair railing or tree outdoors, or anchor it in a doorway using a door anchor attachment costing about $5. Step back until there's light tension when arms are extended, positioning feet shoulder-width apart with slight knee bend for stability. The movement itself seems simple, but there's a specific technique multiplying its effectiveness. As you pull the band toward your chest, imagine cracking a walnut between your shoulder blades, squeezing them together while keeping elbows close to your body rather than flaring them out like chicken wings. This focused squeeze activates the rhomboids and middle trapezius muscles, directly counteracting forward slouching. Here's where it becomes interesting and why bands surpass weights for mature adults. At the pulling motion's end, when the band stretches maximally, resistance is highest, exactly where your muscles are strongest, creating what exercise scientists call accommodating resistance, building strength through the entire range of motion without the joint stress heavy weights create. After mastering basic chest height rows for 15 repetitions, introduce angle variations by performing high rows where you anchor the band above head height and pull down at 45-degree angle, targeting often neglected lower trapezius muscles, preventing shoulder impingement. Then low rows with the band anchored near the floor, pulling up toward ribs to strengthen latissimus dorsi muscles supporting your entire spine. The progression protocol research shows works best for people over 60, involves starting with light resistance bands allowing 15 smooth repetitions, performing 3 sets with 45 seconds rest between sets 3 times weekly, then every 2 weeks either increasing to heavier resistance band or adding 5 more repetitions per set until reaching sets of 25, at which point you move to stronger band and restart at 15 reps. The mental cue transforming this exercise is imagining you're starting each pull by drawing shoulder blades down and back before your arms even bend, ensuring you're using back muscles rather than just your arms. At peak contraction, hold for a full second while visualizing perfect posture, programming your nervous system to maintain this position throughout the day. Within 6 weeks of consistent rowing, you'll notice standing taller without thinking about it. Breathing feels easier and deeper, and chronic neck and shoulder tension plaguing you for years mysteriously disappears because muscles are finally strong enough to hold your skeleton in proper alignment where everything functions as designed. Now for the exercise shocking researchers with its anti-aging power. Number 1. Bear crawl progressions. Stanford University researchers were astonished by their findings when they discovered bear crawling, that primitive movement pattern you last performed as an infant, triggers production of BDNF, often called miracle grow for the brain, while simultaneously activating fast-twitch muscle fibers typically disappearing with aging, essentially forcing your body to maintain neuromuscular connections of someone decades younger. The bear crawl is the only exercise simultaneously training strength, cardio, balance, coordination, and cognitive function, because your brain must coordinate opposite arm and leg movements while supporting body weight in an unstable position, creating new neural pathways, improving everything from reaction time to memory formation. MRI scans show increased gray matter in the motor cortex after just 12 weeks of bear crawling practice. The starting position is everything. Begin on hands and knees with wrists under shoulders and knees under hips, then lift knees just 1 inch off the ground, no higher, because this tiny elevation engages your entire core while keeping the exercise safe for mature joints. Hold this position for 10 seconds while breathing normally, which will alone challenge muscles you forgot existed. The movement pattern starts by simultaneously moving right hand forward about 6 inches while bringing left knee forward the same distance, keeping the knees that same 1 inch off the ground, then reversing with left hand and right knee. This contralateral pattern creates the brain-boosting magic because it forces both brain hemispheres to work together in perfect synchronization. The progression works best for people over 60, involves starting with stationary holds for 10 seconds, then advancing to taking just 4 steps forward and 4 steps backward, resting 30 seconds and repeating for 5 rounds, gradually building to continuous bear crawling for 30 seconds, which might not sound like much, but will leave you breathing hard and feeling muscles from shoulders to calves that haven't worked this way in decades. The mistake everyone makes is moving too fast or lifting hips too high, turning it into an awkward downward dog walk. The secret is keeping your back flat as a table, moving slowly and deliberately like you're sneaking up on something, and focusing on keeping core tight while breathing steadily through your nose, maintaining the mind-muscle connection, making this exercise so uniquely powerful. Research from the University of Denmark found adults over 60 who added bear crawls to their routine 3 times weekly for 12 weeks showed 23% improvement in cognitive processing speed, 31% increase in grip strength, 28% improvement in hip mobility, and most remarkably, their biological age markers improved by an average of 9 years, according to telomere length measurements, making this the closest thing to a fountain of youth that exercise science has ever discovered. The optimal protocol involves practicing bear crawls every other day, starting with 5 sets of 20 steps, always in the morning when your nervous system is fresh and most responsive to creating new movement patterns. Within just 1 month, you'll notice improvements in everything from getting up from the floor to mental clarity and energy levels, making you feel like you've turned back the clock. These 5 exercises form a complete age-reversing workout, requiring just 20 minutes, 3 times weekly, yet delivering more benefits than hours of traditional exercise because they target exactly what aging attempts to steal from you: balance, core stability, leg power, posture, and that primal movement capacity keeping you young at the cellular level. The key to success is starting where you are, not where you think you should be, progressing gradually, and remembering that consistency beats intensity every single time. Because your body is remarkably adaptive at any age, and these movements send powerful signals to maintain and even rebuild the strength, balance, and vitality, making life after 60 not just bearable, but truly extraordinary. If this video helped you discover exercises that could transform your next decades, please subscribe to the channel for more science-backed strategies to stay strong and independent as you age. Remember, it's never too late to become stronger than you were yesterday. Thank you for watching.